Welcome back to the channel, everyone. My name is Hart, and today I have two PrizePicks player props I like for tonight's Thursday night football game between the Commanders and the Bears. So make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. Do really appreciate all the support. And let's get right into the props. So the first one I have for you guys today, well, I guess first off, let's just take a quick look at the spread for this game right now. It's a 6 point spread, 44 and a half game total there. So just wanted to throw that out there for you guys. But in terms of the props here, the first one I have is going to be the over here for Scary Terry's 16 and a half receiving yards. Right now it's a pick 'em on DraftKings. I think they have it at 59 and a half. So it's one point more or 1 yard more on prize picks. But the reason why I like this is the Bears are absolutely depleted with that secondary. We just saw them give up another huge comeback to the Denver Broncos last week. The Commanders are expected to be up, expected to score some points. That's going to come from Terry McLaurin, the number one wide receiver for this team here. Seen a ton of the snap share, and he's seen a ton of the targets. He's leading the team with 27 targets through 4 weeks. Started off slow with only four, but then picked it up. Six, he got five for 54. He got six for 41 and an eight for 86. And the Bears with the secondary, I expect them to give up a ton of huge plays here to Terry McLaurin. He's been heavily involved. I really like this over here for Scary Terry. I expect him to have a really solid game. He seems to have a really good game against the Bears. So I do like the over here for him. I think it's a little unusual for him to have, 6 targets and under 50 yards as we saw here in that Buffalo game. And almost the same thing there in the Denver game, 5 for 54. Seen a lot of short targets, but for this Bears defense, it's very beat up in the secondary. I expect Terry McLaurin to absolutely feast on the backup practice squad defenders there for the Bears. And then on the other side of it, I do like Darnell Mooney here at 30 and a half receiving yards. I talked about in the showdown slate. Make sure to check that out for you guys, or check that out if you guys are playing it on DraftKings. Darnell Mooney's snap share is increasing, and the reason why is because Chase Claypool is not playing. They benched him. They're going to try to trade him. We're not going to dive into that. I mean, the Bears are so dumb for doing that trade in general. But Darnell Mooney is going to be wide receiver two, either wide receiver two or three, however you want to, split the apple. That's what he's going to be, wide receiver two. He's going to get the looks. He's more of a deep route kind of guy, more of a, throw a fade to him, throw a streak to him. So that's kind of why I prefer his over for receiving yards instead of going to his over 2.5 receptions, which I don't mind that as well. Like he's seen 4 receptions in 2 out of the 4 games. If we can pull him up here real fast, just want to scroll down to him. 5,000 on DraftKings. But yeah, as you saw week one, he got 7 targets, 453. And then week four, he had 4 targets, caught 4 for 51. And he catches some decently long targets. You see 23 in week one, 17-yarder in week four. So he does get targeted, pretty far down the field. And the Bears are going to be down here. They're going to have to throw the ball. He's wide receiver two. He's going to see probably 80% of the snaps, if not more, in that wide receiver two spot. So I mean, over 30 receiving yards is very low for a team that's going to have to throw the ball a ton, even though they've been brutal and bad. There's no Chase Claypool anymore, who was sucking some targets away, pause from the other wide receivers. But I just really like the upside there with Terry against the Bears secondary that's very beat up. It's just the Bears are a very bad team right now. And then I do like the over here for Darnell Mooney from the Bears side, the Bears perspective. They're going to have to, score points. They're going to have to throw the ball, most likely because they will be down, most likely. And they're going to have to look to DJ Moore, Cole Kmet, and Darnell Mooney for explosive plays. So these are the 2 picks I like going with. I don't like betting heavy on this game tonight just because both these teams are very bad. Commanders have actually been decent and decently fun to watch, but in terms of the Bears, it's been brutal. It's been very brutal. Going to be a disgusting Thursday night football game, most likely because 99% of primetime games have been brutal the past 2 years. So I'd bet very light on tomorrow's game. Very light. I'd probably play 10, $20 at most for the slate tomorrow, depending on you guys' unit sizes. But yeah, I'd take it very easy and light just because it's a gross slate. And it's just wild because it's like a lot of these numbers look very low, but it's just one of those things where it's like it could just be a god awful game. And someone like Khalil Herbert, who does get a ton of screens, he could probably not even get that. Cole Kmet, a guy who's seen a decent amount of action, only 32 receiving yards. A lot of these props are crazy low and they look so enticing, but I promise you guys, just it's going to be a gross game. If it's not, great. That'll help out for fantasy for people that have people from these games, or help out in DFS. That's great. But in terms of betting, I'm gonna play super light. Don't mean to lecture you guys, but I would not play heavy on the Bears. They ruin they'll give you nightmares, and they'll just ruin your week and your weekend. So those are 2 picks for you guys today. I hope you guys liked the video and hit that like button and subscribe. I'll see you guys next video. Peace.